I'm Ophelia. I am joined by Hayden, and we are going to be talking about Wales's recent game
Well, a
versus
game that literally
Argentina.
just finished.
Yes. How do you think Wales played in the recent match today?
Well, it was a disappointing loss because Wales were always going in as the underdogs. After all, 12th in the world at the moment. This summer campaign where they lost in that first test to Japan, which was quite a surprise. And it also makes it 8 games consecutively lost at home. That being said, it is not as bad as the scoreline makes out. There were some great moments, such as that last try of Jack Morgan's before he got injured, and of Luis Rietzamit's performance when he came on. He was constantly finding those gaps in the Argentinian defence. But the problem is, those were almost countered by so many silly mistakes that Wales could have avoided. So it's just a matter of keeping that same momentum, but getting rid of those silly mistakes.
Yes, I do agree. How do you think Wales could have, perhaps improved on?
Well, the biggest improvement they could have really done is in the kicking, because constantly, every time they kicked it, Argentina would intercept, as well as in like when they were trying to kick it out, ready for a line out, they lost the momentum. There were some times where it fell short when it could have got right into that back corner and given Wales more of that advantage. So I think definitely some kicking work, as well as not giving away those silly offsides and those silly penalties, and just being careful where you put your feet.
So, Argentina obviously won in this match. How do you think Argentina's strategy and playing was different to Wales, and how did they win because of this?
Well, Argentina, they were a lot more dynamic. You had them constantly finding these gaps in the Welsh defence and powering through. Their kicks were always on point. That being said, they weren't as good as the scoreline suggests. There were moments where it almost felt like Argentina had lost the ball for no reason or had done something which was such an easy, silly mistake. And they were constantly giving away these offsides. And that's why, if I was going back and looking at it again, if the scoreline was ideal, Wales should have had one more try. Argentina was still the stronger team and deserved their win.
Do you think that Argentina, we could take anything away from Argentina's strategies?
It's mostly the power in the kicks, because rugby, quite a lot, people think of it as like scrums, rucks, constantly moving. But one of the big parts is nailing your kicking game as well. And I feel like Ar- Argentina have that nailed in a way that Wales do not. And taking that from them, as well as being slightly stronger in those scrums, we saw whenever it was an Argentinian scrum, they were able to just spin us around. So it's about making sure they aren't able to spin us in that way and holding our ground.
We all know that Wales has an upcoming game against Japan next week. Do you think, what do you predict the results will be?
Well, Japan, we played against them in the summer, the 2 tests. They won 1, we won 1. And taking the lessons, if Tandy's taking the lessons from this week, it's try and improve the kicking game and try and hold your ground. And Japan's style is less dynamic and less controlling than Argentina's. So if we can nail those sort of the kicking strategies and holding firm and being able to push more, as well as allowing players like Louis Rizamet and Jack Morgan to pull their moves, like Louis Rizamet bolting down and finding those gaps. We can beat Japan and we can go up in those rankings.